One Piece Manga Chapter 1131, titled Loki of the Realm of the Dead. In this chapter, we'll find out if Luffy decides to help Loki break free from his chains. We also witness Robin's small transformation and see if she'll finally reunite with Saul after a shocking accident. So sit back, relax, and watch right until the end of the video, as all of that is revealed. The cover page of the chapter is the 18th volume of the limited cover story, Oni Child Yamato and the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage. In the previous volume of the limited cover story, a mysterious thief stole Yamato's sword. While napping outside with Otama, Yamato didn't immediately notice that the sword Kinemon asked him to deliver to Enma Shrine had been taken. This volume continues with Yamato chasing the unknown thief. He rides on Komachiyo while Otama and Speed run alongside him. Their expressions are tense as they rush to get back the sword from the mysterious robber. For those of you who might not remember, here's a bit of info about Speed. She used to be one of the Shinichi of the Beast Pirates before becoming Otama's subordinate. If we look back at chapter 918, Luffy mistakenly takes Speed for a horse. After defeating Hold'em, Luffy escapes while carrying Otama. He then sees Speed and hops on her, thinking she's just a regular horse. But Speed wasn't too happy about it. Seeing this, Otama quickly used her devil fruit powers to make a Kibidongo and stuffed it into Speed's mouth. That snack tamed Speed, and from then on, she treated Otama as her master. The chapter begins where he left off in chapter 1130. Luffy threw his arms into the air. A triumphant shout escapes his lips as he responds to Loki's declaration. Hearing they're in Elbaph, Luffy cannot contain his excitement. After all, he and his crew have been wanting to come here for ages. Luffy's voice rises in pitch as he talks to Loki. He wonders if Usopp knows they are officially on Elbaph. He's also curious if there's something at the top of the tree where Loki is chained. In chapter 1130, Loki says that the kingdom of Elbaph is the birthplace of war. Luffy couldn't believe it himself. Hearing that Elbaph is the strongest country in the world amazes him. However, Luffy's non-stop questions leaves Loki with no chance to respond. He's been wanting to say something all this time but wasn't able to do so. Luffy hasn't realized it yet. His face is sparkling in anticipation as he smiles at Loki. Since his time on the Great Warrior Pirate ship, Luffy has never seen a bunch of giants in one place. For him, it makes sense that the Elbaph warriors are the strongest. Loki's patience finally snaps. His voice echoes as he yells at Luffy. He's been talking to him, and being ignored is too disrespectful. His voice booms through the forest. Even the towering pines shake. Every creature freezes, trembling by the sheer terror. The wolf can only growl as he looks at the source of the scream. Once again, Loki introduces himself. He claims to be the sun god, an existence brought by all the legends passed down on the island. As the Accursed Prince of Elbaph, his bounty is finally revealed. Loki has been issued by the world government a special bounty of 2.6 billion berries. A dark grin crept across Loki's face. He orders Luffy not to talk without his permission. He demands to know what he thinks about his situation. But Luffy responds calmly. For him, it's obvious that Loki is caught and chained up. Loki is glad to hear the answer he wants. However, being caught is an understatement. He believes that the giants want to ultimately get rid of him. After all, he's been like this for 6 years. Loki could only pray for his freedom. Luffy couldn't believe what he was hearing. Loki claims that he's the pride of Elbaph's strength, but because the chains are made of sea stone, he can't use his power. Unable to escape, he's been bound in the treasure tree Atom for years. In previous chapters, we referred to the tree as Yggdrasil. However, it has now been revealed to be the treasure tree Atom. For those of you who might not know or have forgotten, Treasure Tree Atom is known for having the strongest and highest quality wood in the world of One Piece. It's illegally sold on the black market for hundreds of millions of berries. The Roger Pirates Oro Jackson and the Straw Hats Thousand Sunny are the only ships made from this rare material. In addition, sea stone is a material that can cancel devil fruit powers. It is often used by the Marines in weapons, handcuffs, and prison cells to restrain and weaken devil fruit users. Loki then proposes a deal. Luffy leans back against Loki's leg, casually listening to his request. He hears Loki mistaking his name for Loppy, and immediately corrects him. Thinking Luffy is a pirate, Loki lays out his offer. If Luffy unlocks his chains by dawn, he'll wipe out any pirate crew Luffy wants. He believes the key should be somewhere in the nearby village. Getting it shouldn't be a difficult task. A wicked, calculating smile surfaces on Loki's face. At this point, he thinks he has already won over Luffy. But Luffy's attention drifts. He suddenly gets up, his gaze locked on something in the distance. Luffy's gaze focuses on the impending danger. Up ahead, somebody is approaching. Before he forgets, Loki tells Luffy more about the place. He introduces it as the lowest layer of Elbaph, the realm of the dead. Criminals are sent here and no one dares to approach this place. It is both a prison and an execution ground. Luffy doesn't look away as a massive fist rips a pine tree out of the ground. Finally, the mysterious creature shows up. The pupils in its eyes remain white as it crushes the tree with ease. Alongside the beast, a giant snake appears. It bares its sharp fangs as it crushes a rock in a single bite. As more creatures emerge, Loki's voice cuts in. He calls this ancient mountain the First World, where beasts have roamed for thousands of years. In the next moment, a lineup of fierce monsters appears. Near the snake stands a giant ape and an ancient elephant, a wild wolf, and a massive polar bear. Their sizes all tower over the pine trees. Their gazes are locked on Luffy. Nearby, a group of masked humans are lurking. Their dark cloaks stand out as they mumble about Luffy. Loki's speech continues. According to him, the realm of the dead belongs to the sun. He doesn't know what brought Luffy here, but he warns him to watch out. He is the master of these beasts, and they have been by his side since he was a kid. If Luffy crosses him, they won't just stand by. Luffy broke into a nostalgic smile. This scene definitely takes him back. It reminds him of his days training against the beasts on Rosokaina Island, which explains why he's not scared. In chapter 597, Rayleigh brings Luffy to an island to train by battling over 500 beasts. Fast forward to chapter 598. After the 2-year time skip, Luffy has successfully defeated every last one of them. Loki gives Luffy a final warning. Any humans who dare to defy Elbaph will suffer a tragic fate, with no exceptions. The only way to avoid getting devoured by the beasts is to cover oneself in foul-smelling clothes and live like a walking corpse. The cloaked figures in gas masks react instantly. Hearing Loki, their master, say those words has them fuming. They're eager to find out who Luffy really is and whether they should just let him get wiped out by the mountain beasts. As they rush toward Loki, the cloaked figures apologize for fainting earlier. They weren't expecting a certain someone to appear. They couldn't believe Shanks had shown up in the realm of the dead. As we saw in chapter 1079, Shanks and his crew were indeed on the shores of Elbaph with Broggy and Dory. When Eustace Kid tried to attack his fleet, Shanks quickly stepped in. He anticipated serious damage from Kid's attack and quickly used Divine Departure to stop him. With help from Broggy and Dory, Shanks completely wiped out Kid and his crew. Hearing Shanks' name, Luffy is all ears.
Nani?
He was shocked and couldn't believe what he was hearing. Did they really say Shanks? While Loki and his subordinates were talking, Luffy also hopped onto the hand of the massive ape. All of the beasts left a soft smile on their lips as they looked at Luffy. Their fierce vibes fade, and their hearts practically float in the air. The cloaked figures are completely taken aback. They struggle to comprehend what they are witnessing. There's no way Luffy could have tamed all of the mountain beasts. Even Loki finds it hard to believe. He could only yell as he wondered who Luffy really was. But Luffy's too focused to care about their reactions. All he wants to know is if Shanks really came to the realm of the dead. Seeing Luffy's expression, Loki's lips twisted into a sinister smirk. He flashed a smile that was anything but friendly. Then, Loki gives an unclear answer. He asks if they're even talking about the same Shanks, the cowardly pirate. In the next moment, Luffy bursts into Gear 4th and throws a punch right at Loki. Loki's smirk instantly disappears as he quickly moves his head, barely avoiding the attack. Loki's subordinates scream as they worry for their master. But Luffy's not done. He's already charging for another strike. Loki desperately begs him to stop, saying it was all a joke. Rage twists Luffy's features, but he decides to stop. Cold sweat runs down the beasts' foreheads as they watch Luffy undo his form. For Luffy, insulting Shanks is unforgivable, even as a joke. Breathing heavily, Loki complains. As soon as Luffy frees him, he swears to give him a merciful and quick death. Luffy doesn't even care if Loki can't move. If he insults Shanks again, he'll go and bury him in the treasure tree atom. Once again, Luffy asks Loki about Shanks. He wonders why he would come all the way out here in the first place. There's no way he's just running an errand. Most of all, is Shanks still on Elbaph? Loki's smile twists into something dark and secretive. The answer to Luffy's questions aren't something he can just tell him. The scene shifts to the long rope bridge. The strong winds and tremors brought by Loki's roar shakes the pathway violently. Usopp and the crew are getting more afraid. At this rate, they're gonna die. As he clings to the handrails, Usopp spots something. Chopper looks back and sees someone approaching in the distance.
ちょっと怖えぞ
Looking through Usopp's binoculars, the man's identity is unclear. As the figure closes in, Road is revealed to be running. The injury he received from Nami's thunderbolt gives the Straw Hats an idea as to who he is. They instantly knew it was the self-proclaimed sun god without his mask on. Not far behind, Gerd is chasing after Road. Goldberg runs alongside her while carrying the Thousand Sunny. They must have figured out Road's been sneaking outsiders into Elbaph and found out about his strange hobby. But seeing the Thousand Sunny, Zoro decides to cut them up.
かすり傷だ
Usopp quickly stops him.
ちょっと待った
They must consider it first since Gerd and Goldberg might know about Broggy and Dory. Fortunately, their goal isn't that far anymore. If they get caught, it's all over. At this rate, they just gotta go full speed ahead. The Straw Hats dash for their lives, with Nami riding on Chopper as they rush to the bridge's end. They can only wish there was a village up ahead. The scene shifts to another side of the realm of the dead. Hadrian's laughter rings out as he celebrates the success of his latest catch. He's bagged a giant moose just before the Straw Hats' arrival, and he couldn't be prouder. Hadrian strikes a victory pose as he and Stanson step on their prey. The giant moose they caught is definitely something to die for. Hadrian admits that this beast is hard to find in the upper forest. He believes that this rare delicacy will delight the Straw Hat pirates. A grin stretches across Stanson's face. He shares the same excitement as his captain, but he worries about how they will carry this heavy meat. Since it's snowing, there are no sunstone penders they could use to break it down and carry it bit by bit. Even so, Hadrian believes that they'll somehow manage. After all, this meat will be served to their saviors. For those of you who might have forgotten, Stanson is the shipwright of Hadrian's new giant warrior pirates. Like Road, Gerd, and Goldberg, Stanson was also an S-rank soldier in Buggy's mercenary group. If we go back to chapter 500 of the manga, Stanson was sold as a slave at the human auctioning house in the Sabaody archipelago. In chapter 504, he and the other captives managed to escape thanks to Rayleigh and the Straw Hat pirates. Now, here's a quick refresher on Hadrian. During the Dressrosa arc, he gets caught up in Doflamingo's schemes and is turned into his toy until the Straw Hats save him. It is no surprise that Hadrian feels thrilled to see Luffy. Since becoming the captain of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet's 6th ship, Hadrian has been determined to come to Luffy's aid whenever needed. Hadrian and Stanson scream with every ounce of their strength. The two lift the giant moose as they sing, getting ready for the feast they are planning. Finally, all members of the new giant pirates have been introduced. With Hadrian as the captain, the crew is made up of 5 members. The navigator, Road, the shipwright, Stanson, Gerd the doctor, and Goldberg the cook. The scene shifts to the coast of Elbaph. The waves crash as the giant warrior pirate ship sails alongside a massive sea beast. On the ship's deck, Brook nervously asks Robin's opinions. He has no experience cutting a woman's hair, so he's feeling all kinds of nerves. His chest is beating rapidly, even though he doesn't have a heart. Lilith bursts into laughter. Brook's skull joke is just too good, especially since not having a heart goes against all the scientific rules. On the other hand, Bonnie, Frankie, and Jinbei are all admiring Robin's new look. Bonnie thinks Robin looks cuter than ever, while Frankie feels a touch of nostalgia. Meanwhile, Jinbei compliments Brook for doing such a good job with the haircut. In the next moment, Robin's new look is finally revealed. She smiles sweetly, thanking Brook for the makeover.
当てにしてるわ
It's perfect for her. And as the crew says, it really suits Robin. The Giants are also happy with Robin's new style. Broggy remembers that this was her hairstyle back when she met Saul. Dory believes Saul will be overjoyed to see it. Surely, he will quickly recognize Robin. Oyama agrees. He remembers that it was the same hairstyle Robin had when they first met at Annie's lobby. At the same time, Frankie is already tearing up. As always, reunions make him cry and overcome with emotion. Now, here's a bit of background on Saul. Saul was once a Marine Vice Admiral and someone who knew Robin's mother. During the Buster Call in Ohara, Saul risked his life to protect Robin and help her escape. As it is the end of the line for him, he tells Robin to take his raft and head out to sea. He believes that someday Robin will meet friends who will protect her. Robin sheds tears as she dashes away, leaving Saul behind as he is frozen in ice by Kuzan's powers. Up until chapter 1066, Robin believed that Saul had died. But when Vegapunk Shaka told her about Stella's journey to Ohara and Elbaph, she learned that Saul had survived. Shaka says that a crew of giant pirates were collecting the remaining books from Ohara. Their captain was a strange giant wrapped in bandages all over his body. He had his crew gather the books and transport them to a massive library on Elbaph. Tears of joy stream down Robin's face as she realizes that the captain is Saul. She feels relieved that he is alive and hiding from the world government. For their reunion, Robin even brings back her pre-time skip hairstyle. With a soft smile, Robin closes her eyes, feeling happy and ready to meet Saul again. In the next moment, the fog clears up and the warland of Elbaph is unveiled. The Straw Hats, Bonnie, and Lilith couldn't believe their eyes. It's huge, and even the island itself is a giant. Everyone is buzzing with excitement. They're excited to land, have a toast, and start the feast. The scene shifts to the warland of Elbaph. Somewhere in the country, a panicked voice echoes. Someone is shouting frantically as they deliver the bad news. The giant says that Saul accidentally fell and can't get up. What do you think happened to Saul? Will he be awake when Robin arrives? Also, Loki's attitude toward Shanks raises questions. Around the time Loki was sentenced to crucifixion, Shanks became one of the 4 emperors. In the previous chapter, a crew member from the Giant Warrior Pirates mentioned Loki's attempt to flee. Do you think Shanks earned his Yonko title by stopping Loki's escape? And most importantly, will Luffy accept Loki's deal? There's so much to talk about and discuss, so let's continue this in the comment section down below. As always, press like if you enjoyed the video. And if you don't want to miss out on future One Piece chapters like this one, definitely subscribe and hit that bell icon. If you missed any old chapters, click here to catch up right after this video. There won't be a break next week, so I'll see you soon. Till then, thank you for watching the video, and have a great day, Nakama.